It's your boy Ghost Dog here with an official premiere over here at the ABSN network. But before all that, here's a word from our sponsors.
On the Fantasy Foreplay, a start of the show, where your draft begins and your knowledge will grow. His picks and her flex, we got you back for show. From quarterback to sequel, that's where we explode. All love, no lust, we the ones you can trust. Lock in your options, you know it's a must. With this week's fantasy, we'll help you adjust. Boom, up a bus, let's get ready to rush. Draft the right, don't miss the call. In the game, we got no. I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, you know what it is. Ghost Dog here. Got a little something special. Something that's been in the works for a little bit now. Something I like to call Fantasy Foreplay. His pick, her flex. Got a little something near and dear to my heart. Somebody who's, been my rock for a while now. She's going to be, my wingman in all this fantasy talk. I would like to introduce the gorgeously stunning, the exquisitely breathtaking, the lovely, the radiant Miss Hangover.
What is up, New face here. I am Miss Hangover. I am going to be your co-host for this Fantasy Foreplay segment. Thank you for that introduction, babe.
Absolutely, baby. I mean, you deserve it. Why not? I'm here because of you at this point. That's how I feel. That being the case, let's get right down to it. We put together here a list of top 15 quarterbacks. And this is going to be like a little bit of a thing leading into the fantasy football season. So just pay attention. Starting off with the quarterbacks. We'll talk wide receivers eventually, running backs, tight ends. We've also decided to condense kickers and the defenses, being as that, those are not really like premier picks, but they are worth mentioning. That being the case, we're starting it off here with the top 15 quarterbacks. Went over the top 15 quarterbacks. Put some numbers up for you guys to take a look at. First set of numbers is last year, what they did overall for the year. Second set of numbers is projected for the 2025 season. And we did the math for you guys. So that way, you don't have to. We also put the averages below the names. But that being the case, out of these names, Miss Hangover, which ones were the ones, one specifically rather, which one stood out the most to you?
I guess I would have to say Baker Mayfield was definitely one of them. He wasn't somebody that I really focused on for last year's fantasy. He put up, 365 fantasy points last year. So I'm looking forward to see what he might do this year.
Yeah, for sure. A name that stuck out to me last year was Sam Darnold. Quarterback that struggled throughout his career, but for some reason, it might have been the program that he was in. It might have been the fact that he was thrown to, Justin Jefferson and what's the kid's name out from the UCLA? His name is escaping me right now. Jordan, I forget his name, but he had two premier wide receivers over there putting up numbers for him. So I could see why his resurgence was capable or feasible, if that's the words I want to use. But however, we compiled two top 10 lists between me and Miss Hangover here, and we would absolutely love to go through it with you guys, to give you guys some insight on some of the quarterbacks that you absolutely should be keeping an eye on for the 2025 fantasy football season. So, Miss Hangover, take it away. We'll walk through your top 5 with us real quick.
All right, sounds good. So to start, number one for me is got to be the man, Lamar Jackson. last year alone, he put up over 430 fantasy points. He has great leadership qualities, and his ability to elevate the play of those around him is amazing. He had over 4,000 passing yards last year and 41 passing touchdowns. So I'm really excited to see what he can do over there. He's got Derrick Henry over there, and he's awesome. So I'm really looking forward to see what he has in store for us. I guess my second one would be Josh Allen. Funny short backstory here is I definitely doubted him last year and his abilities. And I definitely regret that to this day. So that is another reason he is my number 2, because I'm giving Josh Allen his flowers. He's got over 379 fantasy points, overall fantasy points last year. We got, Shakur over there, Ray Davis, Keon Coleman was a big star over there. He's even got, James Cook. He's got dynamic playmaking and holds several franchise records over there. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year. And also, he just got married to his baddie wife. So I'm expecting this year to be even better because he's living off love and football. My third is going to be Jalen Hurts. He had over 315 overall fantasy points last year. He's a strong leader on and off the field. He's got Saquon Barkley over there. Shout out to Saquon. He's got, Devontae Smith and Goddard over there. He's got a pretty good team, to work with over there. So again, I'm excited to see what he has in store and to see if maybe he might make it to playoffs and head into another Super Bowl. Then fourth is going to be the guy, Jaden Daniels. He's got last year over 355 fantasy points. He's got, a strong work ethic. He's, dedicated to improve. He's got Deebo Samuel. He's got Terry McLaurin. I know that there's been some, a little drama with Terry McLaurin, but it seems like it's, smoothing out over there. He did show up to camp today. Yesterday. So we're gonna see what goes on over there. And then let's see. I think he also will, improve this year, and I think he's already done great things, and I think that this year he's just going to get better. For my fifth pick is going to be Joe Burrow. Last year he did 372 fantasy points. He's got, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. He's very competitive and has a desire to win. So I'm going to put, bets on him for sure. He also has some, set some records. In 2024, he led the league in passing yards and touchdowns. So I'm really excited to see what he has in store for us going forward this 2025-26 season. That is my top 5. I will let it now go to my man, Ghost Dog.
Thank you so much, baby. And that was a dope top 5. Very similar to mine's. Couple differences, though. Starting it off, you already know what time it is. Lamar Jackson over in Baltimore. Crazy numbers put up last year. I expect just even more this year. Absolutely made my number 1 for obvious reasons. You got Bateman over there, Zay Flowers. With the addition of a DeAndre Hopkins, we understand he's older, but however, he's going to warrant attention. He's going to, be put to use over there. Josh Allen, you took the words right out of my mouth. Keon Coleman, Shakur's over there. That boy gets busy. And, adding on to your little backstory, I told her I told her, ladies and gentlemen, to not throw that man to the wayside. She didn't want to listen to me. We ain't going to get into all that, though. Josh Allen will absolutely put up numbers for y'all. Keep him, in your thoughts come draft day. My third, however, here's where the differences come into play. Patrick Mahomes. I just think last year, after taking that L in the Super Bowl, there's no way the whispers and the talk ain't come back to him. There's just absolutely no way. Expect Xavier Worthy to get busy with year 2. They got Hollywood Brown. Travis Kelce is still obviously he's not the Travis Kelce of old. He's still a piece there that, will absolutely help Patrick Mahomes. I expect that man to come into the season with some motivation. So absolutely, he made my top 3. Number 4, Jaden Daniels. As a New York Football Giants fan, I have been able to witness firsthand what this young man has been able to accomplish. There are exceptions to rules, the rule being sophomore slumps. I don't really see it in this young man's future. I just think he is really that dude. Washington Commanders absolutely uplifted their franchise by drafting this young man. With the addition of a Deebo Samuel, he already got Scary Terry over there. The tight end, his name is escaping me right now, but he was getting busy last year. Former Philadelphia Eagle, that tight end. Expect him to just take that next leap, man. He is absolutely the exception to the rule. Number 5, Joe Burrow, Mr. Joe Cool himself. Absolutely put up numbers last year. Outside of an injury, expect this man to get absolutely busy, especially because of the being as that the Cincinnati Bengals, their defense is severely lacking. So expect him to be playing a lot of catch-up games. Expect Jamar Chase to be putting up hat trick games on the regular, which was what he was doing last year. Expect T. Higgins to get involved. He got his money. So absolutely, man, Joe Burrow, absolutely worth a top pick in anybody's fantasy football. Not even, no questions asked. That's my top 5. Miss Hangover, take it away for your 6 through 10, and then I'll do my follow-up.
All right. Alrighty. My number 6 is gonna be the one and only Bo Nix. I believe in Bo Nix, and part of that does come from last year. He literally saved my ass because after I stupidly casted, Josh Allen off to the waiver wires, I did pick up Bo Nix, and he did save my season. I had him in the Cortland Sutton Wombo combo alone. Mr. Bo Nix did 317.2 fantasy points last year, overall fantasy points. He also was injured during this season, and he still did not miss any games. He was still killing it then, and he is expected to have a full recovery. So just imagine what a fully healthy Bo Nix can achieve if he was able to perform to that capacity with an ankle and back issue. He has also Marvin Mims Jr. over there, Mr. Devon Bailey. Like, he has lots of weapons over there to utilize, and I just really hope he goes off this year, because I definitely will be looking for him to draft if he's available. My number 7 is going to be Mr. Jared Goff. He has a lot of weapons over there. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs. Those were, very good performing players this last 2024 season for fantasy. He did over 324 overall fantasy points. He has achieved multiple 300-yard passing games. And I think he's going to do great. Next is going to be my number 8, Mr. Baker Mayfield. He put up over 365 fantasy points. He's got Mr. Mike Evans over there. Salute to Mike Evans, because he really performed for me this last year, even though he is an old head. They got Godwin over there. He's, led them to 2 consecutive division titles and a playoff victory. So, you can bet your bottom dollar that he's going to be putting out some fantasy points for you. 9, I have chosen the man, Sam Darnold. Near and dear to my heart with this, I am from Seattle, so naturally I am a Seahawks fan, and he will be playing for my team this year. So I can't really speak on too much about what he did in the past, because this is a new era for him. But I will say that last year with the Vikings, he did put up 307 fantasy points, and he led the Vikings to the playoffs. So I will put my money, now that he has Kenneth Walker, Jackson Smith, Nick Jigba, and even the new Elijah Arroyo with Noah Fant gone. I'm going to really bet my bottom dollar that he will do really good for us. The 10 is going to be Kyler Murray. He put up 297 fantasy points last year. He's got Trey McBride over there, James Conner, and he's not afraid to utilize his rookie, Trey Benson. So I really appreciate what he does, in the fantasy world, for us last year, because, if you were hurting, with a quarterback like me, he definitely was somebody that you could have picked up to help you out if you were in a pickle. But with that being said, that is my 6 through 10, and I'm going to pass it off to the man, the myth, the legend, Ghost Dog.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate that. This is where our top 10 lists come to separate, if you will. My number 6, I got Jalen Hurts. I had him last year. He did things for me. Now, I don't have him in my top 3 based off the fact that last year, a lot of his points were just pushes and like just nonsensical type of numbers and stuff like that. I mean, he did do some things, but again, you got AJ Brown over there, you got Devontae Smith, you got Goddard. There's definitely some plays where you could throw Saquon in the mix with like a wheel route or something like that. It's just weird, man. I don't know. I just think this year the rest of the league is going to catch up to a degree. Maybe even possible come up with some plays to stop the tush push. I just don't think he's worthy of like a top 5 mention. But, definitely bottom 10, absolutely like a later round, maybe like a 3rd or 4th round. If he's available, snatch him up. The tush push is guaranteed points. So, absolutely. Number 7, I have Kyler Murray. Has Marvin Harrison Jr. over there. He should be able to do some things this year. He's good with his legs. He's deceptively accurate, as you said, he's definitely somebody who you can pick up like in a tight situation that can maybe carry you for a couple weeks if need be. So, that's why I got him for number 7. He's projected to do 306 this year, did 297 last year, so that's not bad. Definitely keep an eye for Kyler Murray. Number 8, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, what a crazy resurgence of a career. Mike Evans, he got Godwin over there. That Bucky Irvin kid, expect him to get busy this year. I have him a little bit lower on the lower side, just off the strength of, again, I just think the league is going to, catch up to things over there, as well as, Mike Evans, he's getting on the older side. Not to say he's going to take a crazy leap or like jump off, but it's just something tells me that I just don't think he's gonna make Baker Mayfield is gonna have the success that he did last year. Although I am willing to put him in my top 10 because Baker Mayfield is a baller and he gets busy. Number 9, Jared Goff. Man, that man just has so many pieces to play with over there. Amon St. Brown. He's got Sam Laporta, Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs. What more can I say? He spreads the ball around as well. the only problem I have with Golf is that he's also like a little bit of a turnover machine. So like you'll have games where you're up and then by the end of it you're down because he's got like 2 picks. So he's like a really like boomer bust type of quarterback. Just keep in mind if you decide that game plan him around him as far as your football fantasy setup. Now, my number 10 is a little bit of a wild card because this young man coming into the league for his first year, rookie season, and that is Cam Ward. And I get it, fans. Oh, he hasn't played, yada, yada, woo, woo, woo. Pump the brakes, hold your horses. This young man is going to have a very similar effect on the league that Jaden Daniels did last year. This kid is a baller, point blank, period. And he's going to get all the way busy with the likes of a Tyler Lockett, a Calvin Ridley. Don't forget Tony Pollard is over there. So I expect him to do great things. He's actually projected to do around, I want to say, point-wise, they had him kind of low, but just for comparison to the possibility, he threw for 4,313 yards last year, 39 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, with a completion passer rating of a 67.2. So if he can get even 80% of those numbers, I expect his fantasy football numbers to be crazy. So that's my top 10. And we also have a couple honorable mentions as well as some sleeper picks for you guys. And Miss Hangover, I'll let you go ahead and start that off.
All right, so wrapping it close to the end here, my honorable mention is going to go to Jordan Love. He's got Romeo Doubs, he's got Josh Jacobs. He got me through some tough weeks in one of my fantasies last year. So I can only, if you're hurting for a quarterback, you need someone, you're in a tight pinch, Jordan Love will produce for you and he will put up those numbers. In 2024, he put up 233 overall fantasy points. This year he's projected to put up at least 261. So you could bet your money that, like, if you're really in need, you could swoop him up. As far as my sleeper goes, I am going to give it to our guy, CJ Stroud. Last year he put up 220 fantasy points. In his 2 NFL seasons, he has amassed 7,835 passing yards and 43 touchdowns. He's projected to do at least 272 fantasy points this year. So he's a sleeper. You need somebody, don't sleep on him. Pick him up, get him on your team, especially if you're in one of the dynasty leagues. Keep him in your back pocket. That is my honorable mention and my sleeper. I'm going to pass it off to my man, and he will let you know what his picks are.
Thank you again, my love. Yeah, my 2 picks. Well, first, my honorable mention is Bo Nix. Now, he just didn't make my top 10 off the strength of I feel like Cam Ward is going to go off. Other than that, he would have been absolutely my top 10. 317 points last year. He's projected to put up at least 300. Marvin Mims, Sutton is over there with the addition of an Evan Ingram from Jacksonville. Yeah, absolutely expect this young man to put up some numbers. Absolutely scoop him up if he's available. Maybe like in the later rounds, like maybe 5 or even 6 round. Absolutely. Now, my sleeper, how could I have let this rock if I didn't mention this just absolute, it's hate at this point because everybody is just counting Russell Wilson out. And I just think it is not fair at all to that man. These past couple of years, I understand, been jumping from team to team. I get it. I just think those were more circumstances that were way out of his control, whether it be like, the schemes or the head coaches. I think he's got something to prove. I think he's going to make some noise over here in New York because he absolutely does not want to be, put on the chopping block, as it were, because he has a young rookie behind him waiting to take his spot. He has pieces around him. Expect Malik Neighbors to get absolutely busy. Jalen Hyatt is over there. He has a Darius Slayton as well as a Tyron Tracy. And, Cam Scatterbow's making some noise in camp too. So I expect him to just be motivated. I expect him to play his ass off. And expect him to, possibly be like a situation where if you scrambling for a quarterback and you need, somebody to cover you for a week or two, hey, man, do not count Russell Wilson out is all I'm saying. And with that, let's wrap it up here. Now, I've noticed, babe, that we did have some similarities in our lists here. I'm sorry?
Oh, I was just going to introduce this part here, so you're good. Take it away.
Okay, no, take it away. Oh, no, you got it, babe. Go ahead.
So we're just going to very quickly go over the similarities that we had on our top 10. So first, we're going to start with Lamar Jackson. Obviously he's projected to do, 362 fantasy points this year. I do think that is lowballing it. What do you think, babe?
Oh, yeah. I expect him to put up at least close, if not more than what he did last year. He's got some more pieces over there to work with, and on top of that, let's keep it all the way 1,000. Outside of the other teams in his division, who does he really have to worry about over there in that conference besides the Bills? You know what I'm saying? So I just expect him to just light it up. He's got a couple pieces in the DeAndre Hopkins and, expect him to get close to, if not better, the numbers that he did last year.
For sure. And then obviously we got Josh Allen, both as our number 2. I am a believer now. I learned my lesson. He's supposed to put up 364 fantasy points. I do think that he is, that is in the ballpark of what he could do. Let's hope he does do more, especially if you draft him.
I expect him to do more. Just like Lamar Jackson, I think 364 is low balling it. I just think that this dude is going to come back, especially after taking that L against Patrick Mahomes. Look, man, these dudes, he's one of the guys. Like when time goes on and we talk about some of the guys from this era, he's one of those guys. Lamar Jackson's one of those guys. So I just expect him to be better, do the same, if not better this year. Like, I think it's low balling. I think 364 is a little bit of low ball. But that's, me. But, yeah. Going on to Jaden Daniels here. What more can I say? This dude is a phenom. 367 projected to do. I think that's right around what he's going to do. Maybe there'll be like a couple hiccups here and there, but nothing too crazy. I think he's absolutely worth the top pick in the quarterback position. What you think, babe?
I definitely do think so as well. He was a Heisman Trophy winner in 2023. He's young and he's, got the energy and the time to really put in the work. And like I said earlier, I just really think that Jaden Daniels is going to be one of those guys that gets better with time. He's already a top performer. So, it's only going to age like fine wine.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then with our
Is
fifth
there
pick, we
anybody
have
else
Joe
that you
Burrow.
want to talk about before we wrap this up here?
Yeah, Joe Burrow, our fifth pick. Like I said earlier, man, expect this young man to be playing catch up in almost every game. Cincinnati is not doing themselves no favors with their defense. So he's going to be putting up numbers. He's got targets. He's got an offense to put up crazy numbers. It's going to be similar to the greatest show on turf. And it's messed up because it shouldn't have to be on his back. But hey, look, it works out for us fantasy owners. That's all I can say. But go ahead, babe.
Yeah, I definitely think that, he set a new record for the Bengals in a single season. And I definitely think that he has the power to do that again. And, I think he's going to continue to perform top in the league for passing yards and touchdowns. So I do think that he would definitely be a good add to anybody's draft.
Absolutely. And yeah, Aboriginal Sports Network faithful, there you have it. The official first episode, the premiere of our fantasy football segment, Fantasy Foreplay, his pick, her flex. Absolutely good stuff all around. Here's our top 10 quarterback list. Keep these names out in your mind and in your ears for when football fantasy season kicks up for your drafts. Also, stay tuned. We're going to have a couple more videos coming out with wide receivers. We're going to go through our running backs, tight ends, etc. And we're going to make this a weekly thing going into Sunday, morning, Saturday nights, where we're going to give you guys our pick'ems, our sit-ems, our injury reserve-ems, the whole nines, all the way through. We're going to be tapped and tuned in for you guys to make sure you guys are informed and ready to make those decisions come crunch time, Saturday night going into Sunday mornings. Because as we all know, them waiver wires be getting crazy in them late hours of the morning. Let me tell you, I've been in a couple fantasy leagues where if you wasn't up at like 2 or 3 in the morning, you was missing out. And that's real talk. However, that being the case, stay tuned here at the Aboriginal Sports Network for any other great content from our great content creators here on the network. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like. Leave a comment. Have a back and forth. This is how we get big. This is how we get good. This is how we get better for you. Simple mathematics, simple science. Cannot stress it enough. That being the case, y'all have a good night and peace.